There
Okay,
we go. Hello, YouTube.
had a late night. This is to me an early morning. Okay, because
It's
babies
my
and
chest
sleep.
shirt. I
Good
like my
day,
chest shirt.
loves.
Play by night.
Welcome back to the Holistic Freedom Secrets podcast,
Yes, indeed. I am Coach Soul.
and I'm Coach Tennessee.
We are holistic healers. We are Ufulu child. Ufulu means freedom. And now we're live on YouTube. Okay. Well, welcome back to the Holistic Freedom Secrets podcast. It's episode 42, and we're here to talk about the power in probiotics.
Yes, please excuse my yawns. We both barely got quality. We didn't get quality sleep last night.
Yeah.
So, we are adjusting today. But we are talking about
Defending your gut from modern food threats.
yes.
You got to defend your gut. Hello, Black Beauty 75.
Good day, love.
You got to defend your body with good bacteria against the bad bacteria, against the hormone disruptors, and against the bad chemicals that are in modern food, at least here in the West, where, farming and agriculture is becoming more and more of a lost art. Grand Rising. And there's just, let's say, a lack of sustainable community until you go and seek it and find it. And then once you go and seek it and find it, you might, find your place very easily in where you can help out and how your skills can either develop or how you can be a part of a greater system.
Okay, so I am Coach Tennessee, co-founder of A Food Child, and you are
Coach Soul.
I don't think we introduced ourselves.
We did.
We did.
Yep.
Oh goodness. Okay, this is why we need sleep. Okay. Right on. So, why is this important? Okay, let me share a story about what brought this whole conversation of talking about probiotics and gut health together. So, as you know, back in 2016, my mom was diagnosed with cancer, right?
Rare form of cancer at that.
Yes. And I grew up with like gut issues and food sensitivities and all sorts of allergies. And yeah, so this is a topic where we talk about probiotics, but whenever people talk about probiotics, it's the conversation ends up going towards the direction of, you know, eat your yogurt, eat your fermented veggies, and you're good. We don't really know why we're like why what we're doing,
Right.
particularly other than we're trying to support our gut health.
Some people don't even know that. They just think, oh, it's healthy.
Yes,
you get some kombucha instead of soda, and it's healthy.
Yes.
But or what, apple cider vinegar? That was another one that, or at least that was more of like a cleaner outer. But like kombucha and the fermented stuff is like, we get it because it's healthy, but it's supporting the growth of good bacteria against the bad bacteria.
Yes. But before we get into like all the tactics of how we can do the things, there was this story that I came across. I watched this video and it just it blew me away. So this former CIA agent, he was exposing the truths about probiotics and their ability to help individuals build up their immune system to the point that you can literally be around the aftermath of a nuclear bomb site and all the radiation poisoning in that space. They found this population where this bomb had ravaged
nearby
communities and places and
The radiation was
countries
definitely reaching there, is the point.
for generations.
Yep.
And people were sick, and not easily able to get well. And so the different governments in Russia and Ukraine and US, yada, 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 the list goes on. Of course, they wanted to figure out how they can um, heal their people. And by people, it means themselves, the leaders, and actually combat any sort of big thing like radiation poisoning or other poisons that we come across. And they came across this particular community that lived in a blue zone. And a blue zone is basically like this area, they're drinking cleaner water, their lifestyle is more active and associated with like those generally good healthy habits, right? But one thing that they noticed is that these people weren't getting sick. So the scientists, top scientists from everywhere, were coming into this place to figure out what all was going on to where people's immune systems were built up to the point that generation after generation, everybody was looking younger. Like people were living way older than the typical life expectancy in the world at the time. And they were in the midst of radiation poisoning, not getting sick, handling poisons like anthrax, not getting sick. Like they were testing on these people, which is a moral wrong, of course, to be testing on humans and animals in this way, however, without their consent and informed consent. But they did, right? And they came across this finding as they identified certain bacteria that that these people had integrated in their bodies. And if you did not know, now you know that when it comes to immunity, the good bacteria in your body makes up it's at least 80%, if not 90%, of a factor in terms of whether you're going to get sick or not, whether you're going to be susceptible to some virus or to some
Or death.
disease,
Mhm.
autoimmune or otherwise.
Yep.
Because these strains were bringing down inflammation, bringing down pain markers. They were like search and destroy for like cells in the body that were unhealthy and causing harm, like example a cancer cell, or and it was bolstering up the count of the good cells in the body. It was wiping away the bad bacteria more effectively than any antibiotic. And you know, if you've ever taken an antibiotic, then after a while, your body be off because your digestion gets thrown off, your everything gets thrown off because most of the time we don't replenish these good bacteria that they were finding. And they found an exact combination of bacteria that is not typically found in our yogurts, in our fermented things that we get from the grocery store. If it was, then we'd all be healthy by now eating these things.
Yeah.
And they formulated this probiotic with these good bacteria that were bolstering these people's immune systems to the point of
They
just,
could be in the radiation zone and not be not fall victim to the radiation's effects.
yes, like low-key, kind of like unconditional health vibes. Not dependent on the external environmental factors that are going down. And so what I did after I came across this information, I was like, oh my gosh, it's helping people with so many different autoimmune conditions. It's helping people with gut health issues. It's helping people with immune system, like with compromised immune systems. It's helping people really start to reset their not only their health, but their energy levels.
Yep.
It's helping them reset the clarity in their mind. It's helping them reset in so many beautiful ways. So I was like, what is they named like I tracked down the name of the blend that is available in the United States because the scientists that came up with it happened to also create this company to sell the unique blend of probiotic. And then there's no side effects, there's no contraindication. So that means basically it's not going to, oftentimes there's a contraindication when it's generally okay for the general population, but for example, if you're pregnant or if you're a baby, or if it's a pet, or
If you're
or if you
nursing,
had like knee surgery or hip
right?
replacement or metals in your body or whatever, there's so many different levels of things that can contraindicate and disrupt
Yeah.
the
Maybe you
effectiveness.
shouldn't take
Maybe
this,
you shouldn't do this thing.
but there's none of that for
There's
these
none.
probiotics.
And these are clinically tested. It's been peer reviewed. This combination of probiotics.
Okay, so first, let the people know what the XCI agent's name is so that they can search on YouTube or Instagram his name and just the word probiotics.
yeah,
Dave Straight?
yeah, David Straight.
David Straight. So look up David Straight probiotics or David Straight, curing cancer.
And we're
And
not doctors, right?
right, and neither is he.
And neither is he.
And secondly, the name of the company that makes the probiotics, so that we're not hoarding information that they can go look up and verify for themselves.
Yes. So the name of the company is Stellar Biotics. They have good discounts online. I got me some of their and the exact strain that of bacteria that I mentioned is the Del Immune 5, and it's a V for 5, like Roman numerals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Del Immune V. Okay, for those that don't know Roman numerals like how we used to, that's okay. So this is and I would encourage you to look up the study as well. Let me see if I can find it. But in the meantime, please continue with the episode. I'm gonna find the
for
link
sure.
so that we can put it in to the chat for
So,
this episode.
in order to combat against harmful food threats of the modern era, you want to build an effective gut biome. Your gut biome is essentially the digestive tract, and in your digestive tract, you have a whole bunch of stuff. You have uh, trillions of microorganisms, including bacteria, fungi, and viruses. And these things, again, like she said, connect with your immune system and connect with like energy distribution and how effective and efficient your energy is throughout the day.
We have
Balanced.
Yeah, and just to quickly mention, we have more cells in our body that are these good bacteria and things that make up our that biome is what we're calling it. But basically, the good bacteria, good fungus, whatever, good bacteria army is what we'll nickname the good biome.
In your digestive tract, right?
And
Balanced.
there's also some in your mouth and other areas of your body as well. Good.
Yeah, the whole tract from where you start to digest to where it's fully digested. A balanced gut biome supports digestion, nutrient absorption, and immune function as well as mental health.
Mhm.
So it reaches the whole body, not just your gut itself. And probiotics are living microorganisms that provide a health benefit when consumed in adequate and appropriate amounts. And so, not to gross you out or anything, but there are probiotics in, like she said, yogurt, sauerkraut, kimchi, um, kombucha. There are living things in there. Okay.
And we need them.
And we need them.
Otherwise,
We are living things.
we would
They are
be
living
sick.
things.
Then I don't know what,
Yeah. And
which we are as a population right now. So we need them.
mhm. They help replenish and balance out the gut flora, especially after like disturbances and things. And so, really, really, really important to ingest microorganisms that will support your gut biome's balance and your gut biome's like healthy amount of your microorganism army against bad microorganisms and parasites and just bad stuff that's in the food. The second thing that we wanted to talk about, at least just a little bit, is why food, okay, especially here on the West, is more dangerous now than ever. Why it is, first, is because there is a collusion between entities and industries that benefit more the sicker the population is and the more adult deaths the population that occur in the adult population due to sickness, because then they can test and do get all this funding, things like that. So there's a collusion between those industries and the food industry. Okay. And since they collude together, um, there are plans made and carried out and executed and documented, that the average person can go read for themselves, that spread disease and virus and um, bad habits that lead to an imbalanced gut biome. So that's why food is more dangerous now, especially here in the West. And I say especially because it's not just here in the West, but especially here in the West where agriculture is just not a thing anymore, pretty much, than ever before. Now, if you are a little bit older, then you remember the food pyramid. Remember the food pyramid? Food pyramid was trash. Trash was a big lie. Okay, it basically suggested you should be eating bread and pasta all day, and then protein, and then a little bit of dairy, and a little bit of eggs, and a little bit of vegetables, and then make sure you get your sugar. And it was just, it's just the worst thing ever, um, in terms of a suggestion. But it worked. It was a plan executed by those people that collude to make sure that sickness and death is spread, and sickness and death definitely spread throughout the West. And if you look at video, excuse me, video footage from the streets of say New York or California or whatever in the 30s and 40s versus video footage of the streets and beaches of New York, California, Chicago today, you will see a ironically speaking, massive difference in the people, in the mass that people are carrying around. We are super fat right now, not in any type of good way. Also, we are, pretty gluttonous. We eat a lot of the time, a lot of the day, and it's just all of these habits can be combated, and our health can be supported with the use of a good, healthy, balanced um, gut biome. And using probiotics is definitely a super efficient and effective way to balance it.
Um, that was a lot that you just said,
Hmm.
and a lot of things um, that could be push back upon depending on the listener. However, the big thing to remember here is that the truth is that the way our bodies are set up, we have this good health corresponds with, okay, here we go. Good health corresponds with how many good bacteria we have in proportion to bad bacteria. That's the simplest way that we can put it. So the good bacteria army needs to be stronger than the bad bacteria army. And our lifestyles and what we're eating and what we're doing, we can't keep depleting. We can't keep knocking down the good bacteria army and never building it back up. Because the bad bacteria will overrun, and that's where diseases come in. That's where pains and inflammation in the body comes in. That's where gut issues, that's where the brain fog, that's where conditions like dementia, other autoimmune conditions, that's where they all come in.
Yeah.
And so, one powerful thing with gut health, there's really three things. And I learned this from Dr. Mindy Pels, and she shares about it. She shares research studies relevant to it. Particularly when it comes to probiotics, there's a study on its prevention of autoimmune conditions that is peer reviewed. And this, well, it's really a review of studies in the journals. This is called The Role of Probiotics in Cancer Prevention, and it was published in 2020. So look that up. If you need something to share with your doctor to have a really good conversation, or you are looking to independently do your own research, this is going to be important information. And have it read aloud to you. If you are one you're not likely going to get through this whole study like me. Okay, I had to read aloud to me. All right. So the importance is that we have to remember that health is simple.
Yeah.
The bad bacteria is fed by our
Practices.
highly processed foods,
Yep.
the chemicals that we add into the foods, the pesticides onto the foods, the high processed sugars, and the bad fats that we've mentioned in past
Mm-hmm.
things like
Unhealthy
canola
fats.
oil,
Yeah.
vegetable oil is bad fat. And the good bacteria are fed by all the things that we know to be healthy, like eating the fruits and eating the veggies, eating the 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 uh, the three P's. So prebiotic, like for example, clove. That's a spice in your cabinet, most likely, in your kitchen. And if you get it whole, you chew on 1 to 2 little whole things of clove. It's like cents at the grocery store, especially if you get it from the bulk section at a grocery store, bulk spice section. That is something that prepares the good bacteria to do their thing and fight for you.
Prebiotic.
Prebiotic. The second thing is probiotic. So we need to add in the good bacteria. And so that stellar biotics, any of theirs are safe, great, effective, fast acting, for replenishing your good bacteria.
Yeah.
And then the third P is polyphenols. And that's a big word that's kind of like eating the colors of healthy things. So think of things that came from the earth, stuff that you can get from a community garden for the low, for affordable prices. Stuff that you got and you can pull out from soil, or it came from a tree, or it came from a bush, or whatever. That eating all of the colors of it give these good natural um, plant chemicals that weren't created in a lab. They were created by nature, right? And these also help to feed your good gut biome. So it needs the fiber. It needs you to actually bite into something and chew it and have the crunch experience. And it needs to for you to eat the colors of the rainbow, not Skittles, but stuff that comes from nature,
And just
from
remember
your
to limit certain things that we're used to, right? You can literally track the rise in the processed food, uh, the processed food boom, and the boom in our sickness as well as obesity
yeah,
right here
and
in the West.
depression and anxiety.
You can track it by the year, as well as a decline in mental health.
Yes.
Also, the overuse of antibiotics in agricultural practices and
Oh,
medicine.
yeah. All of the animals, they tend to get injected with it,
Yep.
especially if you don't find them from your local farmer or farmer's market, or they're not organic.
And that leads to both antibiotic resistant bacteria as well as reduced diversity in your gut flora, in the microorganisms. And you need diversity just like the soil needs biodiversity to stay nutrient dense and distribute nutrients the right way. Um, and so learning, like we said in earlier episodes, to read the label, to understand the label, to not have to subject yourself to things that have a whole Walmart receipt worth of label, right? You get simple ingredients, because the long-term consequences of you know like our Western diets include things like risk of chronic disease, risk of diseases like obesity, diabetes, autoimmune disorders. As well as a litany of mental health issues that can literally be solved and cured with uh,
Okay, we can't use the word cure, but you know what we mean. Okay.
go ahead and finish.
Yeah, we already did the disclaimer that we're not doctors, but with your own research, you'll see truths be clear as day. But we can't technically say that we can cure anything because everything is um, independent. What was
Probiotics was the last word of the sentence.
okay? Yeah, so it can be addressed with the aid of probiotics and the healthy lifestyle. Okay, so this has been a very packed with information episode, and we are coming up to the end. Would you like to speak on anything before we go?
Nope.
Okay.
So see you guys in the comments. Make sure you comment something that you learned down or something that you do at your own pace in your own home. Uh, Please like, subscribe, follow, comment, and notify yourself for the next time we're going live. Tomorrow is Wednesday, therefore it's Fuel Day. We talk about fuel. Today was Cleanse Day, so we talk about resetting that gut biome so that those microorganisms can go to work and cleanse you out.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Take good care, loves.